Welcome to Free Arakan TV. Today is March 29, 2021, Monday. Mr. Mohiuddin, the President of World Rohingya Organization, presents his opinion on the topic of Rohingyas' identity and status in the eyes of CRPH and Burmese people.
I am very happy that Dr. Sasa, who is the representative of the CRPH committee representing Pitulato, who has been appointed as the UN envoy on behalf of the legal government of Myanmar. I want to request him that he has been working hard since his appointment. He has been working hard since his appointment, but still the CRPH from Myanmar didn't mention the word Rohingya explicitly, for which we the Rohingya people are very much concerned. So this is very important that the CRPH issue a statement saying that Rohingyas are one of the indigenous race and natives of Myanmar, same as other ethnic nationalities. Because now it has been clear to understand that Myanmar military has lied to the world and to the people of Burma by labeling the Rohingyas as the Bangladeshi citizens of Bengali. This is not acceptable. The development we see in Burma today is encouraging, but they must be brave enough to accept the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the rights of the people to identify themselves collectively in the names they like and they choose. So we the people of Burma, the Rohingyas, have identified ourselves as the Rohingyas, and we were citizens since the inception of the independence of Burma. The former President Sosui Thai, and former Prime Minister Unu, former Deputy Chief of Staff General Aung, they have repeatedly announced to the world and the media that Rohingyas are an indigenous race of Burma. But the consecutive and successive military regimes, with the instigation of some misguided fellows of Arakan, decided to declare the Rohingyas as a stateless people. And then there was continual military operations against Rohingya people to wipe out them from the soil of Arakan. In the last 70 years, more than 30 military operations were carried on to exterminate the Rohingya people, to make Arakan a homogeneous state of the Rakhine people. That is not acceptable. We have been living there from the time immemorial, and the world is aware of that. And the Rakhine and the other people of Burma nationalities, they know also. But intentionally to divert the attention of the Burmese population from the Rohingya case, genocide was carried on. So today they are in the court of the International Court of Justice and International Criminal Courts. First, the Burmese population didn't believe it. They believed what Aung San Suu Kyi told them. They believed what May Online told them. The entire Burmese nationalities were siding these brutal armies and the NLD government. But today they come to realize the army created by father of the nation, Aung San Suu Kyi, the Burmese military is now killing their own people, own citizens, disregarding race, religion, and they're killing everybody. So far, more than 400 people were killed, and more than 2,500 people were arrested, tortured, and kept in custody. So the world has realized, and the Burmese populations come to realize that this army is not the army to defend the people and the country, but to defend their properties and source of incomes. So at this situation, some of Burmese people and some political figures, particularly this Dr. Sasa, he has been mentioning the words Rohingya repeatedly in the media. We are delighted to hear it, and it is very good. He is a good leader. He should be the leader of Myanmar who accepts the universal norms, international laws, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So, our problem is that committee representing Kitulato, they should have issued a statement like those medical students associations from Manali University issued a paper apologizing for their mistaken attitude toward the Rohingyas, for the ill treatment and suffering, mentioning the Rohingyas as an indigenous people. So this is very important. Now CRPH trying to punish me online and the other 10 topmost generals through the ICC and ICJ. But the Rohingyas have been there before. So now the same people, the Burmese people are trying to punish who have been already blamed and accused for the mass atrocities, for the genocide, for the war crimes, and the crimes against humanity. So these two parallel demands for the punishment of the military must be taken into consideration. So the Rohingyas are well known all over the world for their suffering, and the United Nations declared them as one of the most persecuted people in the world. The world knows the Rohingyas are deprived of citizenship, they are identification crisis, victims of genocide, and those who are survivors of genocide now in camp in Bangladesh, almost more than 1 million people are suffering, languishing in very inhuman situation. So the people of Burma, while demonstrating their opposite views through actions and demonstrations, they have also to accept the reality, what happened to our Arakan state, that is Rakhine state. If we fail to understand this, then all our activities now we are doing in the name of democracy, in the name of federalism, in the name of human rights, in the name of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, this will be proof as false conviction. So it is the time that the entire population of Burma should clearly accept and embrace Rohingya people as one of their own brothers and sisters. We are happy that it is not too late. Some conscious Burmese politicians, Democrats, and diplomats come to realize the reality. So, I, on behalf of World Rohingya Organization based in New York City would like to appreciate Dr. Sasa and those who are really trying to establish a federalist state and also trying to establish federal army to oppose the killing and brutalities of the current Tamato military led by me online. We have to sacrifice more and more. Now nearly 300, 400, 500 people are dying, sacrificing their lives. They are marches of the movement of the freedom and liberty. But in 2017, more than 20,000 people were killed, genocide. So, hundreds and thousands of women were made heroes, and many thousands of children were killed, burned, and thrown to the rivers. 450 villages were burned down. Many religious institutions, the places of worship, and schools were burned down. This is 100 times more brutalities and persecutions and oppression than current events. Now we come to see the real face of the Burmese Tamato. So if we fail to grasp this opportunity to embrace our brothers and sisters, the Rohingya community, then the world will not accept it. Tom Andrew, the UN rapporteur for Myanmar, he said repeatedly. So the other world powers, including America, the House of Representatives, the Congress, already designated what happened to Rohingya people in Myanmar was genocide. And the Canadian government, Netherlands, they have also accepted it as a genocide. Very soon the Senate committee will decide and the Biden administration will designate the ethnic cleansing of Rohingya people as genocide. So when the world is talking about the Rohingya people, then the democratic forces in Myanmar, CRPH, committee representing Pitulato, should have adopted a stand on side of the Rohingya people to draw the public opinion all over the world to the cause of the Myanmar democratic forces. So still there is time to mend and to repent what we have done wrong to the people of Burma, the indigenous race of Arakan, the Rohingya people. If we are not able to cope, if we do not do that, then our activities will go in vain, because those people who deny the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, they are not entitled to get freedom, liberty, justice and equality. One side we are fighting against Burmese military because they are killing you, but we are denying those military, the same people who kill hundreds and thousands of Rohingya people, irrespective of men, women and children. So, the justice system call upon all Burmese population to stand up and rise above the racism, apartheid, and xenophobic concept and to stand with Rohingya people. This is very important. We are very much sorry to mention that Aung San Suu Kyi, who was in the Hague ICJ to defend this brutal army, today she must have realized it. Her moral obligation was to support the genocide, not to defend the military, but she was proud to declare to the world that she went to Hague to defend the army that was created by her father. So, this is time to repent. This is to repent and to stand with justice. Being a leader of the Rohingya, I am very much sympathetic to Aung San Suu Kyi. I am very much sympathetic to the NLD government. Their own and wrong actions came as a result of the fall down of this NLD government and Aung San Suu Kyi. So when we restore democracy, when we restore federalism, when we restore a dignified position of this Myanmar nation, we should have to declare unequivocally that Rohingyas are an indigenous people of Burma and they are the same as other 135 nationalities, and the Rohingya should be 136 in number, serial. So this is my appeal to Dr. Sasa to work more, and those democratic forces in Burma fighting for the restoration of democracy and federalism, and those armies who are ready to side with the people against Myanmar military, and especially Tamya Naing, who is the commander-in-chief of the Arkan army, and the leaders of Arkan national parties to wake up and to accept the reality. Denouncing, disregarding, isolating, wiping out the Rohingya people from the soil of Arkan is not possible, because the wall is behind the Rohingya people, behind the victims of genocide, behind the survivors of the genocide. And we, the Rohingyas, are now scattered all over the world, from America, Canada, Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, Switzerland, Australia, and also in Bangladesh, Pakistan, Thailand, Malaysia, all over the world, we, the Rohingyas, are scattered. And we have created this position, we have created this situation that this brutal army, Myanmar Tamato, and its leader, My Aung Hlaing, Commander-in-Chief, and the top 10 senior generals to the Court of Justice. We can do it, we did it, we can do more if the Burmese population come to realize what the strengths the Rohingyas have. Just counting those helpless, poor, needy Rohingyas in Arakan state now, almost 500,000, who are the victims of all kind of persecutions and genocide. They are not the first. With the Rohingyas in diaspora, millions of people are scattered all over the world, working for the Rohingya cause. So, the Rohingya will win their case, and before we go further, it is the duties of the democratic forces in Burma and those democratic forces out of Burma and those diplomatic corps activists and those leaders in Arakan and Burma should realize that it is time to stand with justice, to advocate the reality. I think it is enough to understand the cause of suffering of the Rohingyas, the plight of Rohingyas, the rights of Rohingyas. And by this way, embracing the Rohingya people, accepting the universal rights of the Rohingya people, accepting the native rights of the Rohingya people, this will help the current uprising and democratic forces fighting for the restoration of the federalism, intending to establish federal armies, will help. Otherwise, it will be in vain. It is my prediction personally. I am Mohiuddin, the President of World Rohingya Organization, New York City, United States of America. Thank you.